Hello everyone, my name is Austin, and hey, today I will be showing you how you can get ML5s the fastest and the quickest way possible as a free-to-play. Man, that was a long sentence, but anyway, let's get right into it. So, before we talk about, OMG, how do we gather ML5s, we have to talk about what the fuck are ML5s and where do you get ML5s? So what are ML5s? ML5 stands for Moonlight 5 stars, right? Moonlight 5 stars. So as you can see here, you go over to Moonlight and these are your Moonlights, right? Your Moonlight 5 stars. And of course there are 4 stars in here as well. But for this specific video, we're going to be talking about the 5-star variants because those are the rarest types. So where can you get the 5-star variants, of Moonlights, right? ML5s. So if you go over here into summons, right? If you go over here into summons, you have the Mystic summons where you can pull for a certain character, right? Okay, Archdemon. Okay, Archdemon. Okay. You can pull for a certain rotation every month, right? Every month you can pull for a certain rotation. You have the Covenant. Not the Covenant. This is the story, but the Covenant is right here, where you have a 0.15% chance to get a unit from Covenant. You have Moonlight, where you have a 2.5%. And I forgot to mention, but Mystic is 0.6. Yeah, 0.6. You also have Element summons where you can pull Light and Dark. And, no friendship. Anyway, so, where to get ML5? So, Mystics, Covenant, Moonlight, and Element. Those are the 4 type of summons you can do in order to get the rarest type of units in the game. And I'll explain to you each and every summon, and I'll explain to you which one is probably the best one, and I'll show you the best ways of getting ML5s. But let's start in chronological order, right? We're gonna go from Mystics, Covenants, Moonlights, and Elements. So let's start with the very best, right? Normally we say save the best for last, but you know what? Let's just go with the best for first. So Mystics is by far going to be your most valuable, I guess, asset here, right? It is going to be the most consistent, the most bang for your buck in terms of getting ML5s, right? You get them the most consistently. And it's in the middle of the pack, right? It's not as low as Covenant, but it's also not as rare as Moonlight summons. And it's kind of the middle of the road. And Element summons were introduced, but Element summons are so rare that it's just better to go with Mystics. So let's explain how you get Element summons here. Or not Element summons, Mystic summons. The first way of getting Mystics is by Secret Shop, right? By Secret Shop. So Garo over here has a 20% chance to drop currency, right? 20% chance. And 20% chance. And along with that 20% chance, why is this so long? Mystic medals have a 0.17% chance of dropping out of all of that. So basically, 20% of the time, right? So if you land the 20%, right? If you land the 20% and you get the, you get the currency, 19% of the time, it will always be friendship bookmarks. 0.6% of the time, it will always be Covenant, and 0.1% of the time, it will be Mystic medals. How much do you get Mystics? How much do you get Mystics from from Garo. Let's see. Let's do some math here. You should be on average getting for every 200 Skystone, you should be getting at least one appearance of Mystic Metals. One appearance. That is the average. Or no, that's not. That is the good average anyway. Most people, as far as I can tell, as far as I talk to, right? As far as I talk to, most people get it around like maybe 300 or 400 Skystone. But yeah, 200 is like, if you're like, I don't know, really lucky and stuff, you get 200 per fucking pull, I suppose, right? You spend 200, you get one pull, and you spend another 200, you get another pull. That's if you're like really lucky. But yeah, that's one way of getting it. Another way is if Hushi does show up, right? Hushi the blue rabbit, if he does show up, you can buy Mystic Metals off him for 200 each as well. So you get 200 for like one purchase of like 50, right? That's where I got the average from. Like the value, the cost is from Hushi. I think it's like 200 like for 50 or some shit. And it's honestly a good deal considering from Garo is you're probably going to be spending more from Garo anyway. But yeah, Hushi shop does come from time to time. So make sure to buy all of Hushi's Mystic Metals because they're bang for your buck compared to Garo, who will give you them sparingly, right? So another way of getting ML5s is from your daily Guild War. I know people, like really casual people, they don't like Guild War much, but it is an important part of the game, and it is also an important part of, I guess, getting Mystic Metals, which will help you get more ML5s. So, as you can see here, my guild is part of the ×5 bracket. Okay, so like as you can see here, right, we have Recruit, Challenger, Seasoned Savior, Veteran Vanguard, Honorable Wildcard, and Glorious Guardian. So these are the reward ratios, right? These are the reward ratios, and these are the rankings here. So I can't explain to you like like the details of like what the fuck reward ratios mean or whatever the fuck the war ranking means, because this is not a Guild War video. This is just a Mystic video. But just know that if you're in like Glorious Guardian or in Honorable Wildcard, you're earning the most amount of Mystics possible from Guild War. And in my case, if I win, I typically get about like almost 2 summons. I get like 90 Mystics kinda. And that's kinda like almost 2 pulls there. I know for some people, right? So for some people in my guild who perform much better than I, they get about like actual 2 summons, right? They actually get 2 summons. They get like over 100 Mystics just from fucking doing this, because we're in the ×5 bracket. ×5 is pretty difficult to get, but if you can get the ×4, even ×3, you're gonna get a lot of Mystics. A lot of Mystics from I guess, participating in Guild Wars. So make sure to participate in Guild Wars because you're going to get a very awesome, healthy amount of currency. Another way of getting Mystics is by Arena. I wouldn't recommend this, but if you're desperate for, if you're desperate for, if you're desperate for Mystics, then Arena, it could be a good source of it too. I would always still recommend getting the Skystone over the Mystics, but if you have a lot of Skystone, why not go for the Mystics, I suppose, right? Why not? Mystics could be a great option if you already have a decent amount of Skystone, right? A decent amount of Skystone, but you don't trust Garo, right? Because Garo can cheat you out a little bit, right? He can cheat you out a little bit. And yeah, if you don't trust that motherfucker, you can pick the Mystics as well. But for me personally, I only have 1,000 Skystone right now, and I'm not too confident, right? I'm not too confident in the amount I have, so I'll always pick Skystone. But if you have a decent amount from saving up, then be my guest, right? And then for Hunt, right here for Hunt, you can farm, let's see, like Hunt Wyvern 13, and you get like a couple, you get like less than 10, like every so often. It's not much, but it adds up, right? So you do Wyvern all day or whatever. If you have like 100 fucking 500 fucking leaves, you'll get a decent amount of drops from Mystic Metals. It's you know what I mean, like less than 10, like every so often, and yeah, you'll have a good time with that, right? In terms of like it'll add up at some point. It's not much mystics, but you do get a decent amount, right? And yeah, I think that's all. That's all the places you get mystics. In terms of getting ML5s, this is the quickest way is through mystics. It's the most consistent. It's the rates aren't as bad as Covenant. The rates aren't as bad as Covenant, and the rarity of the currency isn't as bad as Moonlight and Element, right? The rarity of the currency, right? The rarity of the currency isn't as bad as Moonlight and Element. So anyway, let's explain the Covenant summons now. Covenant summons, like I said, I really wouldn't recommend. You do get a lot of Covenant summons, especially from Garo. Garo will cheat you out of fucking mystics, but for Covenant summons, I mean, for me personally, I mean, the average is 100. 100 Skystone from Garo, you get about one. You get about like one or two Covenant summons from Garo. For me personally, I have gotten really lucky with him. I've gotten like 3 or 4 for every 100. So like, he's actually been an insane deal compared to the
What do you think?
Compared to the deal where compared to this fucking deal, he's been so much better. The only downside is you're gonna be spending a shit ton of gold. That's the downside, but overall, in terms of pure Skystone, he's a much better deal in terms of the Covenant summons. But you know, like I said, it's super easy to get. Like, you know, the Skystone over here, you can just farm Garo endlessly, and you'll get so much more, right? You'll get so much more Covenant summons than mystics, than anything else, really, than anything else. But I really wouldn't recommend it. Like you know, just pulling on Covenant summons and hoping for an ML5. It's just not happening. It's too rare. And honestly, save that stuff for, like, you know, the actual banners over here, right? Save it for like Leith and Pavel. You know, these are well more deserved, right? Only time I recommend you pulling the Covenant summons is if like you're a whale and you've already pulled, like, let's say the 2 banner characters or something, or you already have them and you're like, you know what, I can fuck around a little bit. Then sure, go pull the Covenant summons. Don't expect anything. The only time like Covenant summons are great is like OMG. You know, you just wake up, you know, you do your daily summon, and OMG, you pulled the ML5, right? You one-tapped an ML5. I was able to get ML because of that, because I just one-tapped her. It was so fucking cool, man. So cool. The next one is going to be Moonlight summons. Moonlight summons you unlock after completing episode 1, I think, and same with Mystics too, I'm pretty sure. And all this other stuff, this other crap stuff. The only thing that was available straight away was like this, obviously. But Moonlight summons. So Moonlight summons. How do you get Moonlight summons? Is it worth getting Moonlight summons? All that shenanigans. The fastest way of getting Moonlight summons is by filling up the gold transmit shit. So for example, this stuff right here. You see over here where my mouse cursor is? It is this is how you get Moonlight summons. So you do 20 pulls to get 1 gold transmit, right? You get 1 gold transmit.
What do you think?
And you do 20 pulls for 1 transmit, and 6 of those transmit you get 1 galaxy bookmark. So this is a very rare currency. Back in the day, getting those fucking puppies was much more difficult and much more tough. Like this, like that shit was rare as hell, right? That was like one of the only ways you could get it. Nowadays there are other options of getting gold transmit stones, like for example the weekly reputation rewards. You get 2 gold transmit stones if you go into your guild and you have enough currency saved. You can purchase gold transmit stones. You could buy 2 every month. For this shit, for events typically, I know that like they usually offer some type of gold transmit stone. For example, for Leith's, I guess Summer Exchange over here, we have one gold transmit stone that's available. So I mean, it is getting more common nowadays to get more gold transmit stones, but I'd say it's still one of the rarest. It's still one of the most rare currencies in the game, and like I said, the rates are extremely high compared to Mystics and Covenant, but that's just to balance out the fact that the currency is so goddamn rare. It is probably the rarest currency in the game. But that is before I forget to mention element summons. Element summons, they are so rare. I don't even consider them a currency, especially the light and dark ones. The light and dark element summons can only be earned in Advent side stories. So you go to side story, and usually there's an event called like Advent something, and it's usually like a boss monster, and it usually costs like a lot of fucking energy and stuff just to fuck around with the boss. Usually earn like gems and stuff like that, modification gems and all that good stuff, and like chests, reforged chests, stuff like that. It's very useful. It's a very fun event. It's also very strong. It's a very useful event, and you get at least one pull. I think one pull every covenant or every Advent event, and every Advent event. They're so rare to come by. Like it's like the least dependable like summon ever. At least for Moonlight summons, you can consistently farm for them, right? You can farm for Moonlight summons. You can farm for Covenant, obviously, and you can farm for Mystic. But for Element, like it's so rare, it's not even farmable. Like it's not even farmable. Like Element summons are so rare, it's not even farmable. You could farm the RGB ones, obviously, because in Guild War there's a recent update where, you have access to RGB summons like more often, and for your weeklies you do get some element summons for the weekly, so that shit is farmable. But for the ML5, ML4 element summons, you're not gonna get as much. So I don't even consider that as an actual summon thing, because you're not gonna be able to farm those currency, right? You're not gonna be able to farm those currency consistently. So, like I said, I don't really count that, but it is something to acknowledge, right? So, okay, so you have all these many currencies. Like once again, which one's the best one? Mystics, because there are more opportunities for you to get Mystics than anywhere else. It's in the middle, right? It's a rare currency, but it is farmable. Unlike fucking Galaxy, where it's like, ooh, it's so hard to fucking farm. And the rates aren't as bad as Covenant, so it's right back in the middle. You have a lot of options for farming Mystics, and yeah, it's probably the best one. And also, Mystic Summons got a buff where you get to pick multiple ML5s, and if there's a new one, you go after the new one. So anyway, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys understand a little bit on how to get ML5s quickly. My name is Austin, and yeah, I hope to see you guys next time. Yeah, I've been enjoying this game a lot. Bye!